Hey Posh Hearts, it's Simone here, and I get this question a lot, so I thought I'd do a quick video to talk about what I recommend that you stock up on for vendor events. I do vendor events, and that's kind of my main thing. At least when I started, that was what got my business started. And so vendor events are definitely something that I feel comfortable with. So I do have inventory on hand, and I do have cash and carry, but that is specifically because I do vendor events. Now, if you are starting out, I don't want you to feel like you need to have a lot of product. If you guys are seeing my vendor pictures and you're feeling like your stock is not, is not adequate, keep in mind that I do vendor events majority of the time with other people, and so we have a lot of our stock pulled together. But if you're doing an event by yourself, keep in mind that you don't want to stock up on a whole lot of stuff, especially if you're brand new. You don't necessarily need to have every single product on hand. You don't need to have every tester out. Simplicity is really important. You don't want to overwhelm people with having too much stuff, but you also don't want to invest in too much product that you're not going to be able to sell. If you want to do cash and carry and have inventory on hand, here's what I recommend. I recommend that you stick to your favorite products. So, and the $9 items. So I recommend doing Posh to Meet You sets. So having some of the hand creams, some chunks, and some lip balms on hand to do the Posh to Meet You sets. And then anything that's a little bit lower price. So if you say the Snarky Bar is one of your absolute favorite products, maybe have some of those on hand, maybe like a few or a handful, depending. It depends on your area, what sells and what doesn't. But for the most part, your best sellers are going to be your absolute favorite products. Those are the products you're going to talk about the most. Those are the products you're going to actually show people. If you have, for example, a body butter that you hardly ever use, you're never going to talk to people about it. So having a bunch of body butters on hand doesn't really make sense if you don't talk about it. Plus, for anybody that isn't familiar with Posh, they're not going to feel as, most people are not going to feel as comfortable spending more money on something that they're not aware of. So usually I stick to the $9 items, the Posh to Meet You sets, because it's a good value. So you don't necessarily have to have one of every single one, or a few of every single one. I would really just make sure that you have a good variety of the different scents. So like the Gender Bender is one of my favorites, so usually that one sells really well, and I'm a big citrus fan. So I make sure that I have citrus things on hand and the Gender Bender. And then obviously if there people don't like citrus, then I make sure I have something that's a little bit sweeter or something else that's opposite. So I make sure that I have a good variety for the different scents out there, without needing one of everything. Okay, hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Lip scrubs are always really fun, and those are lower priced as well. So if that's something that you guys are wanting to add in, be sure to, you can grab a couple of each one, or one, or a bunch of a specific one. Like the Snowden's a good one, just because it's a mint and vanilla. Another thing that I would also recommend if you are looking to build up your inventory is the skin sticks, and specifically the healer is the one that I would recommend, because I feel like that one is a good all-encompassing skin stick, and it really does almost every single thing you need. But perhaps your absolute favorite is the Perk or the Sleepy Sleep or something like that, and you can talk about that, and anybody that you talk to wants it immediately, then that's the one that I would recommend you grab some of. And I don't even recommend that you get too much of a certain product, but if you have like 2, maybe 3 at most on hand, that's a good amount to get started with, especially if you're brand new. And then make sure that you are, I think it's really nice to also offer, be prepared to take orders. If somebody really, really wants the Gender Bender and you just sold out of your last one, you know what? Hey, you're local to me. Let me, I can, add this to my next order, and I'm happy to deliver it, or you can charge them shipping to get it shipped to them. And you can do that then and there, get their payment information so that you can get have everything ready to go, so that you can get their orders in. I do recommend taking their orders then and there, so using some card reader of some sort, Square or PayPal, so that you have it on hand, and then so you can give them a receipt, and so that they know that it's like, the transaction has taken place. So that's kind of what I recommend for what you would stock up on for inventory for events. Let me know if you guys have any questions. If you guys agree or disagree or whatever. If you guys have something that you guys always stock up on because it sells really well for you, let me know. I'd be interested in knowing what works the best for you. For example, I didn't even talk about the BFF or any of the face care. But for like BFF, Moisturize 911, and Cackle Spackle, those are my favorites. And so I usually try to have at least one of each on hand, just because that's something that I like talking about and something that I can talk about. And usually for the most part, most people can use the product. So that's usually what I do. But hopefully that helps you guys out. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I will talk to you later. See you guys.